Esther, the brave queen who saved her people.
Have you ever been afraid to speak up, even when you knew it was the right thing to do? Well, Esther was a girl just like you, and she had to be super brave to save her people. Let's dive into her amazing story. A long time ago, in a kingdom called Persia, there was a powerful king named King Xerxes, also called Ahasuerus. He was very rich and loved to show off his wealth. One day, he decided to throw a huge party for all the important people in his kingdom. It lasted for many days, and there was music, food, and fancy decorations everywhere. While the king had his party, Queen Vashti, his wife, also had a party for the women in the palace. Everyone was having a great time. One day during the party, King Xerxes called for Queen Vashti. He wanted her to come and show off her beauty in front of all his guests. He ordered her to come. The queen had to obey, right? But Vashti didn't like this request. She felt that the king was treating her like she was just something pretty to look at instead of a respected queen, and besides, she was also busy with her guests. She knew she deserved to be treated with respect. Guess what? She said no. Queen Vashti refused to go before the king and his guests. When King Xerxes heard that Vashti refused to come, he was furious. He was not used to people telling him no, especially not the queen. He asked his advisors,
"What should I do about Queen Vashti?"
The advisors, who wanted to please the king, told him,
"If the queen disobeys, other women might also start saying no to their husbands. You should take away her crown and find a new queen."
And just like that, Queen Vashti was no longer queen. She lost her royal title because she stood up for herself. Also, in the beautiful kingdom of Persia lived a kind and gentle girl named Esther. She was a kind and beautiful young woman. She lived with her cousin, Mordecai, because she was an orphan. Mordecai loved her like his own daughter and taught her to be wise, brave, and kind. One day, King Ahasuerus decided to find a new queen. He sent messengers all over the land to bring the most beautiful young women to the palace. He wanted someone who was beautiful, kind, and smart. Mordecai told Esther to go and try out to be the queen, but she was a little scared but thought it could be a great opportunity for her to help her people. After meeting many of the young women, the king liked Esther very much and chose her to be his queen. Esther was so happy and grateful. She didn't forget about her people and her cousin Mordecai, who had taken care of her. There was one thing nobody knew. Esther was Jewish, one of God's people. Mordecai told her to keep it a secret for now. Not everyone in the kingdom was good. There was a man named Haman, and he was the king's most important official. But Haman was full of pride and wanted everyone to bow to him. Mordecai refused, because he only bowed to God. Haman got so angry that he came up with a terrible plan. He tricked the king into making a law that said all Jewish people would be destroyed. Mordecai and all the Jewish people were scared and sad. They needed help. They needed Queen Esther. Mordecai sent a message to Esther, "You must go to the king and ask him to save our people." But Esther was afraid. No one was allowed to go to the king without being invited, not even the queen. If she went to him without permission, she could be punished, even put to death. Mordecai reminded her, "Maybe you were made queen for this very reason, to save your people." So Esther made a brave choice. She told the Jewish people to pray for her, and after 3 days, she went to the king. Esther walked into the king's throne room. Her heart was beating fast. What would he do? King Ahasuerus looked at Esther, and then he smiled. He held out his golden scepter, which meant she was safe.
"What do you want, my queen?"
he asked. Esther didn't ask right away. Instead, she invited the king and Haman to a special dinner, and another one the next night. At the second dinner, Esther finally spoke up.
My king, someone has planned to hurt me and my people.
The king was shocked.
Who would do such a thing?
Esther pointed at Haman. It's him. The king was furious. He had Haman punished and made a new law to protect the Jewish people. Esther had saved them. Esther's story teaches us that we can make a difference when we're brave and use our gifts to help others. Esther was brave, kind, and smart, and she used those qualities to save her people. You can be like Esther too. You can stand up for what's right, even if it's hard, and help those who need you.